Coming up tonight, hear about the student government's resolution regarding DACA and undocumented students.
And learn about the best places to eat on campus.
And I'll give you an inside look at all things Cyclone sports.
It has been warm all across Iowa. Here's a sneak peek for tomorrow. Record heat we're reaching. All of more coming up later on in the forecast.
Thanks for watching and have a good rest of your night and week. Stay classy, Cyclones.
Good evening and welcome to the February 16th edition of Newswatch. I'm Mary Kahn.
And I'm Courtney Dust. Thanks for joining us.
The Iowa State student government wants the university and University President Stephen Leith to do everything they can for undocumented and DACA, that is, Deferred Action for Children Arrival Students. Cassie Olson has the story.
Last night, the Iowa State student government passed a resolution that had ISU students of every background on their toes. This resolution, titled Support for Deferred Action for Childhood Arrival Students and Students with Lack of Documentation, is explained here by Vice Speaker Connor Tillow.
The resolution that just passed, was basically saying that the student government supports all students going forward, as well as asking that the administration continue to support the students, specifically those undocumented, and through the DACA program.
Many students expressed concern over the resolution impacting federal funding and hiking tuition rates, since the original document included the terminology sanctuary campus. But the Senate decided to strike that phrase before the meeting.
There was nothing about sanctuary campuses, there was nothing about federal funding, anything along those lines in there. There will be no federal funding cut as of right now.
Looking forward, the resolution will be sent to the Iowa State Administration and Board of Regents, along with other university and government officials. It's important to note that this resolution is solely a recommendation to these officials and does not ensure action on either side of the issue. For ISU TV with Josh Lamberty, this is Cassie Olson.
The Iowa State student government has proposed a referendum to increase student fees that will pay for renovations and expansions to the Memorial Union. Specifically, during lunch hour, students have said that it can be hard to find a place to sit. Plans for the renovation include additional seating and a study space. The student government met last night to discuss this issue and came to the conclusion that students will have to chance their vote on whether they are willing to fund those renovations. The referendum states that the fee would go up $72 per semester and would be over the span of 2 years. Students will have the opportunity to vote on the fee over the student government elections in March.
Aims for Change is a new progressive political action group making waves in town. The group hosted a community forum on campus Sunday. Guests at the forum in the maintenance shop included State Representative Beth Wessel-Kroschel and State Senator Herman Kornbach. This is not the first event that the group has held. They have also hosted a Right to Your Legislators event in January. Aims for Change was founded by a handful of current and former Iowa State students, including graduates and current students of the Political Science Department here, Sarah Ashby, Jennifer Annan, and Adam Doherty.
Cyride's Plum Route operates on the Southeast 16th Street corridor is facing the possibility of a service reduction due to a decrease in funding from the companies on their route. As of right now, Cyride is receiving $113,000 per year in funding from renting companies that fall along the Plum Route, which allows the route to operate every 20 minutes. These companies are planning to stop supporting Cyride and will be starting to operate a private shuttle for the tenants next fall. As a result of the reduction, the bus will now operate every 40 minutes rather than 20 minutes. The route would also start 20 minutes later in the morning and end 20 minutes sooner at night. Cyride is asking for student and community comments on the proposed changes on Monday, February 20th at 4 in room 3505 of the Memorial Union.
Iowa might leave the Central Time Zone. A House subcommittee made the recommendation Wednesday. Leaving the Central Time Zone would mean not changing the clocks twice a year. Representative Dave Jacoby, a Democrat from Coralville, says daylight savings time is an antiquated system from a more agrarian time. He says he's in favor of the changes because it means more sunlight in the evening. A similar bill has been introduced in the Iowa Senate, but Governor Terry Branstad says he opposes the changes because it will cause confusion.
Iowa House and Senate approved 2 bills this week that would repeal negotiation rights from Iowa's public sector employees. House File 291 and Senate File 213 were introduced earlier this week and would seek to abolish employment negotiation concerning vacation time, overtime pay, and health insurance policies. All House and Senate Democrats protested the bills, while 6 Republican legislators joined in as well. The bills have drawn a lot of criticism from the public and triggered over 3 days of protests at the Capitol. However, lawmakers still passed both laws, and they are expected to be signed by Governor Branstad next week.
There are many places here to eat on campus.
Stay tuned to see which spots are students' favorites. You're watching Newswatch. Iowa State has a lot to offer when it comes to finding something quick to eat. Coley Berggren has more on the story.
State, it can be hard to find good places to eat, but lucky for us, all the best places are just a short walk away.
I probably eat on campus about 2 or 3 times a week, even if it's just like a cup of coffee.
And that's just what the Hub is for. The Hub, located next to Parks Library, offers Caribou coffee and food such as burgers and fries.
I really like going to the Hub because that's where a lot of my classes are, so it's super easy to get over there, and it's a really nice place to eat just because it's always clean. And another one of my favorite spots to go is Potbelly. I like going there with my friends or when my family's in town, just because I really like the diversity of food that they have, and they offer a lot of really good sandwiches.
Potbelly, located on Lincoln Way, just so happens to be neighbors with the most popular spot on the weekends, Jeff's Pizza.
So usually on a busy night, our tickets are up to like 700 or so.
Jeff's Pizza is one of ISU's hottest. Open until 3 a.m., it's the perfect late night snack.
That cold doesn't seem to prevent people from coming in.
Last but not least, there's always the classic location, the Memorial Union. From Panda Express to Subway, there's something for everyone. And the best part?
The convenience of it, and I can use my dining dollars or side cash, so I don't have to spend my own money. I can send my parents money.
For ISU TV, I'm Coley Berggren.
President Donald Trump fired his national security advisor Michael Flynn after it was revealed Flynn had contact with Russian officials during the campaign, and it appears the position may not be easy to fill. Trump selected retired Vice Admiral Bob Harwood to fill the position on Monday, but as of Thursday, Harwood declined the position. According to multiple news outlets, his rejection comes at a chaotic time for the current administration. Multiple leaks from the White House indicate infighting.
A Girl Scout stand in Union, California was robbed by a gunman yesterday. No harm was caused to the 11-year-old girl and her mother. Police in the Union area have so far donated more than $1,000 to the young girl and her mother and bought all the cookies they could. Many of the officers involved in the investigation have children actively involved in scouting. Officials said they donated the money to cover the loss from the robbery. The Union City Police Officers Association purchased all of the girls' remaining boxes of cookies.
A suicide bomber turned a religious shrine celebration into a slaughterhouse on Thursday. The bomb killed 70 people and wounded more than 250 in the worst act of terrorism in Pakistan in months. At least 50 of the wounded were critically hurt in the explosion at the Sufi shrine, which is in the remote southern part of Pakistan. According to the Associated Press, the Islamic State, the extreme Sunni militant organization, claimed responsibility for the attack. The attacks were the result of a decision by armed forces to close the border with Afghanistan, where Pakistan officials say many of these attacks are plotted.
In a show of opposition to anti-immigrants, rhetoric restaurants and schools in Washington, D.C. protested by closing down for a day to acknowledge the different backgrounds Americans come from. Dubbed A Day Without Immigrants, gained enough prominence that businesses across the country closed their doors and posted Facebook messages in support of the effort. Multiple schools also decided to cancel their classes to allow students and teachers to join the protest.
Iowa bridges are in bad shape, says the American Road and Transportation Builders Association. The group released a new report that says Iowa leads the nation in structurally deficient bridges. They analyzed transportation data and found that 21% of the bridges in Iowa, that's nearly 5,000, are in poor condition. The state of Iowa says it's identified needed repairs of 15,000 bridges. The state estimates repairs will cost $7 billion. And now we're joined at the desk by Zach. Zach, what in the world is going on with Cyclone Sports?
After the break, I'll give you news on some Big 12 players. Stay tuned. You're watching Newswatch. Welcome back to Newswatch. I'm Zach Williamson here with your sports report. Coming off a 16-point home win against the Oklahoma Sooners, the Iowa State men's basketball team headed to Manhattan, Kansas to take on the Kansas State Wildcats. This game was huge, not only for the Big 12 standings, but more importantly for NCAA tournament implications. The Cyclones started off hot and built up a 16-point lead going into the half. Kansas State made a few runs in the second half, but could never get over the hump as the Cyclones defeated the Wildcats for the second time this season with a score of 87-79. Iowa State was led by freshman Solomon Young in only his second start of the season. Young scored 18 points and grabbed 12 rebounds, 8 of them on the offensive end. Every other Cyclone starter scored in double figures as well. Iowa State will welcome the TCU Horned Frogs to Hilton Coliseum Saturday at 5 p.m. The men's team wasn't the only Cyclone team to bring home a victory last night. The women's team took care of business as well. The Cyclones played host to the Texas Tech Red Raiders after losing a close one in Lubbock, Texas earlier this season. Texas Tech jumped out to an early lead with a 4-point advantage at the end of the first quarter. But Iowa State got hot in the second quarter and never looked back, beating the Red Raiders 79-68. The Cyclones were led by Shauna Johnson, Jada Buckley, and Bridget Carlton, who combined for 55 points and 24 rebounds. Iowa State will take on the West Virginia Mountaineers at Hilton Coliseum Saturday at noon. The win wasn't the only big highlight that came out of the Iowa State women's game last night. Senior guard Shauna Johnson reached the 1,000 career rebound milestone against the Red Raiders, becoming the third player in Iowa State history to do so. Johnson finished the game with 12 points and 9 rebounds, putting her at 1,001 rebounds total. This achievement also made Johnson only the second player in Iowa State history with at least 1,500 points and 1,000 rebounds in a career. Johnson was named to the first team All-Big 12 a season ago and has put up the numbers to be considered for it once again, averaging 15 points and 8 rebounds a game. Congratulations, Shauna, on the accomplishment, and good luck the rest of the season. The Iowa State men's basketball upcoming opponent, the TCU Horned Frogs, hosted the Oklahoma State Cowboys last night in a game that came down to the final seconds. TCU had multiple shots at the end of the game to tie it up, but couldn't get one to fall. The Cowboys got plenty of production from their unselfish superstar Jawan Evans, who scored 16 points and dished out 12 assists, leading his team to a 71-68 victory. The result brought both the Cowboys and the Horned Frogs records to 6-7 in the Big 12, 2 games behind the Cyclones, who are now tied for third place in the Big 12 with West Virginia at 8-5. Iowa State still hosts Oklahoma State at Hilton Coliseum on senior night, February 28th. Well, it's finally warm outside. Please tell me it's going to stick around, Sam.
Oh yeah, your wish is sure going to come true because the next week is going to be outright scorching with temperatures for February. But it currently names 40 degrees. We see mainly clear skies. Winds are calm. They were out of the south earlier today, and that was mainly driving in the warm temperatures that we saw. Current conditions out there, 40 names like I just mentioned. Often to the north and east, though, in areas near Waterloo and Mason City, some snowpack is actually keeping them a little bit chillier out there, as we have been seeing well above average temperatures throughout the state of Iowa. And those winds very calm in both Ames and Des Moines, but mainly out of the south and east, though, averaging between 5 to 10 miles an hour, 9 miles an hour over in Council Bluffs. And those warm temperatures all throughout the state today, 65 in Ottumwa, 65 locally in Des Moines, 66 over in Council Bluffs. The average temperature in Ames is 34 degrees, so we're well above average throughout our region. And as we go on through the clouds and the radar currently out there, we are seeing some high clouds passing from the north, moving on to the south on the eastern area of the state. Notice less cloud cover out into areas near Council Bluffs, Sioux Falls, and Sioux City. And here's how it pans out on future radar as we go through the overnight tonight, mainly staying clear statewide. Some clouds are possible into areas of Lake Michigan as well as the Dakotas. And as we go through time tomorrow, clear conditions all throughout the state of Iowa, bringing us temperatures flirting with 70 degrees locally in Ames and Des Moines. Some clouds do appear on the horizon on Saturday, though, mostly sunny, though, on Saturday locally in central Iowa, but 38 for a low in Des Moines, 35 up in Fort Dodge, those cooler temperatures mainly due to the snow cover up in Waterloo and Mason City. But tonight's low, 37 degrees, well above average. Our low temperature is 14. Those southwest winds are bringing us that warm air. And here are the highs tomorrow, flirting with 70 degrees in Des Moines. It's Council Bluffs, even in Ames, Iowa, and that's very unseasonable for mid-February. I cannot believe that. It's swim trunk weather and bikini weather out there, but 69 for a high tomorrow. Warm and breezy conditions, southwest winds bringing in 10 to 15 miles an hour. And here's a 7-day forecast. Like I mentioned, our average high is mid-30s for this time of the year, so we're staying well above average. There's a chance of some thunderstorms actually on Monday. We'll keep you posted on that. But notice on Sunday that low temperature overnight, 50 degrees. That's very nice out there. So if you want to turn off the AC, open the windows, Sunday night is your opportunity. We'll keep you posted.
It seems that kids are entering the workforce earlier and earlier these days. 7-year-old Chloe Bridgewater from Hereford, England was so excited to get her resume started that she applied to the super tech giant Google. After starting her job application with "Dear Google Boss," Chloe's letter made it all the way to the Google's CEO, Sundar Pichai. In a future response, Pichai told Chloe that he hopes she works hard and that he looks forward to receiving her job application once she finishes school.
In a comeback featuring Rumor, a German Shepherd, came out of retirement and was crowned the top dog at the Westminster Kennel Club Dog Show on Wednesday. Rumor, who was named after the hit song Rumor Has It by the singer Adele, competed against 2,800 before taking her crown. The German Shepherd nearly won the crown last year in close call, but was able to bounce back and reclaim the Best in Show title. She is the second German Shepherd to win the prestigious title since 1987 and has won over 100 titles since her debut as a show dog.
New York Fashion Week commenced this week and brought with it the latest in spring style. But one model in particular stood out on the catwalk. Jeremy Meeks, dubbed the Hot Convict, was spotted walking the runway during the Philip Plein show. Meeks made headlines in 2014 after his mugshot went viral. At the time, the 30-year-old model had been arrested on a felony weapons charge and was spending 2 years in jail. Meeks was eventually released and used his newfound notoriety to sign a modeling contract, and the rest is history. Meeks says he plans to use his new modeling career to stay on the right path. And this is all we have for this edition of Newswatch.
Stay tuned next Tuesday for more news, weather, and sports.
Have a great night, Ames.